and just general from people being here at the expo. It's been absolutely fantastic. But for the last time, I am here with a games designer, Dan, with Raptor Island, which is a dinosaur-themed card game. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's going to be coming to Kickstarter soon. We'll go across to Dan and ask him. Dan, it's lovely to have you on the screen.
Yep, thank you.
So what was the inspiration behind this game?
So Raptor Island is a culmination of a lot of game mechanics that I've always wanted to put into card games. I've got a big passion for card games. I have a history in computer game making indie games, but I've always wanted to make something physical. So it felt about right, sort of the start of this lockdown last year, the lockdown, that I put some time and effort into my passion of card games. And yeah, all the design, all the mechanics have just come together from that. Obviously for my game, my first game, to break into the board games and card game industry, I wanted something with a strong theme and great artwork. And for me, you can't get better than dinosaurs. Something that I'd love to play when I was 10 years old, that kind of thing, with the family.
No, that's great. I mean, of course, dinosaur has a universal, appeal and rapport with people. I mean, I know we've got a friend of the show who's absolutely dinosaur fanatic, and I mean, anything dinosaur, snap your hand off for it, quite literally. One thing that really attracted us to you and your game is that, like you said, the artwork is fantastic. Can you just chat about that very briefly?
Yeah, no problem. So the artwork is done by a good friend of mine, a guy called Alan Palmer from Southampton. He has a history of doing a lot of art for museums, doing a lot of their billboards, that kind of thing. He's actually started doing more like 3D sculpting of busts, 3D printing of T-Rex heads and painting them up and making them look amazing. And I thought, for my project, that I want this dinosaur theme. There's no one better who knows the anatomy of a dinosaur than this guy. So he was perfect to rope in for this project. And so far he's done a fantastic job. I'm very proud of him. So one of the things about Raptor Island, though, is that he's kind of given me these art pieces, because he's a good friend, for mates rates. Now, I'm a big advocate of paying artists the wage they deserve. And the whole point in my Kickstarter, essentially, is to finish the second half of the artwork, but really pay him the wage that he deserves as a freelance illustrator, because I think the artwork stands for itself. It's fantastic. I'm really proud of him.
No, that's amazing, and that's actually a really good, valid point. Yes, okay, it's lovely when people do that, but where credit's due, I totally agree. So you mentioned the Kickstarter. Obviously, I mentioned that at the start. It's not live yet, is it?
No. So it'll be coming to Kickstarter on the 1st of September. The idea of me being at the UK Games Expo today is that I'm essentially trying to preview the game, show people what's coming, so that when it comes to that Kickstarter on the 1st of September, I have a nice, good, strong launch day.
Yeah, no, that's great. And this is your first Kickstarter you've ever done, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Being your first breakaway game.
Yes, absolutely. I have had some experience with Kickstarter, however, though. I used to work for a company who did video games, and they actually ran a Kickstarter for a Mega Drive game, the old classic 90s console, and they made a game called Xenocrisis, which was quite successful. It wasn't my Kickstarter, I just helped the company out. But so I learned a little bit from them, things like the preparation that you need to do, like coming to UK Games Expo and previewing your game before launching. Don't go in cold, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And just as a little thing, there are some award ceremonies going on behind us right now. So if you're struggling to hear us, we do apologise. We are really trying hard to kind of speak up for the camera, so we hope you can hear us. But look, can we just have a very quick pan over the graphics here? Just show the box. It looks great. It looks really wonderful. And here's some of the artwork. Yeah, you got some raptors here flying through the air. I mean, let's face it, dinosaurs is one of these topics that is very popular.
Absolutely.
I can imagine there are certain things you might have had inspiration growing up and coming up with dinosaurs. We won't mention those because we don't want to infringe on anything particular.
That's okay, yep.
But you can use your imagination. How very briefly summarise it, how it works.
Absolutely. So in Raptor Island, each player are competing, they're adventurers competing on Raptor Island to find dinosaur DNA. We also have this concept of the last remaining helicopter, and it needs to be fueled by the players, but only one player can use that helicopter to get out of there when they've got that DNA. So essentially there's two objectives in Raptor Island. The first objective is to find DNA cards. This is nice and easy. You find them in the deck, you also can take them from other players, etc. The second objective is a little bit more interesting. Each player, well, next to the deck is our discard pile, quite normal. On the other side of the deck is our fuel stockpile. Now, any player can play fuel cards to the fuel stockpile, but if they do, any other player can use them. So you have this really interesting mechanic where you begrudgingly play fuel to this fuel stockpile, knowing other players can use it full well, but if nobody plays to the fuel stockpile, nobody's getting off that island and winning the game. So you have a really interesting mechanic where the first time that fuel is played into that stockpile, it becomes really interesting.
Okay,
once you've got those two objectives, you've won the game.
Fantastic. That sounds actually really quite interesting. Now, of course, when the Kickstarter comes live, there's obviously one of the levels is obviously either to just back the game, and help it come to fruition. Of course, you also got these standard backing levels where you obviously get a copy of the game. Are you having any other stretch goals as part of your Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah. So for this campaign, being as mentioned my first campaign, I really didn't want to make anyone feel insecure or have an inferior version of this game. I have one backing level, and that is the game. Now my plan is I hope to get it for about £14–15, around that area, and the delivery would be hopefully like maybe about £4 for the UK anyway. Now, if I can sell more than I predict, or if there's enough people to back more than I predict, I can't alter the price, but what I can do is offer free shipping. So I'll have a pledge later on if enough people do it, where they'll get the shipping free, and I can subsidise the costs that way, and return back that value. That's the plan.
No, that's great. I mean, I really like the graphics. I think the box design's really great. It's simple. It looks fantastic. From an art perspective, and the mechanics sound really good as well. If you were to be redoing this process, okay, i.e. the Kickstarter, what would you change if you could? And what advice would you give to someone out there who may be considering or going through that process now?
Yeah, interesting. To be honest, it's been going really, really well. I don't think there's much I would change, other than possibly starting the process of showing people the product earlier. You want to get that as early as possible. Now, I launched 1st of September. I'd hope to be here, ideally months. They don't run it every month of the year, but the UK Games Expo, but I'd be here months in advance showing people your projects, so nice and early. Yeah, pretty much. A word of advice I'd have, though, for instance, I'm hopefully going to be working with a company called ShipQuest to handle getting this product into people's hands. People with years and years of experience of logistics, essentially. Now, someone like ShipQuest is great because they're not just going to handle shipping that to the backers, but they also offer free advice, things like recommendations of people who can make your prototypes. For instance, the person who made my project here, which is in prototype stage, has actually got a stall just over there. Rob, his name is, at Dice Sports. Absolutely fantastic. Get yourself someone who don't feel ashamed to ask someone with experience advice, and take on that advice.
Fantastic. That's really good advice, and that's something we've heard repeated countless times over interviews that we've done over the expo. It's been an absolute great experience from a lot of people's perspective. Of course, this is our last live of the day. Have you got any questions for me right now?
No. It's have you had a great expo?
Yes, we have. It's been an absolute great expo.
Awesome.
I know, and it's been a great last chat and live stream here at the Expo 2021. Yep. So what we would like to do now is we're just going to kind of mill around towards the end of the Expo. We're just going to chat with people who've been making this event that's been a success, which is you, the public. You at home are enjoying Expo from home with the help of us, Dario the Linking Geek. You can help us by liking, sharing, subscribing, and sharing the love, because not everyone can come to the Expo. They may not feel safe enough, but everyone here that has been here has absolutely loved the Expo, and we're going to be doing a little montage video so you at home can feel the love that we've here while we've been here at UK Games Expo 2021. So I'd like to say thank you very much, Dan, for your time.
No
it's
worries.
been an absolute pleasure.
No worries.
Take care, stay safe, and that's the same to everyone else at home and on the internet, out throughout the world. Take care, stay safe, and keep gaming, everyone.